Good morning. Welcome to St. Patrick Catholic Church. We wanted to take just a few minutes this morning as we begin the new year to provide you with a mid-year report on the parish. As most of you are aware, there's an awful lot of activity in our parish and a lot of people making it all possible. And thanks in great part to the importance of our personal relationships with Jesus Christ and our willingness to answer his call to discipleship. I can't emphasize enough how we, all of us here sitting in the pews and those serving on the altar here and all the things we do, form the community of St. Patrick. We are the ones that make possible all the wonderful things we do as a faith community. It's not only our opportunity, but our responsibility, if you will, our very response to the many blessings in our lives, including the very gift of our lives, to share what we have and who we are with others in the community. And you all have most generously responded to this call. Just prior to Advent, we promoted our combined stewardship of time, talent, and treasure campaign. And I'm happy to tell you that over 392 parish households made their pledge to support the parish with their time, talent, or treasure, and in many instances, all three. To those of you who submitted a pledge card, thank you very much. You make everything possible and everything we do here. For those of you who haven't yet done a pledge card, let's see, I think I brought one here with me. Well, take a look, they're in your pews. It's not so important that they're up here, they're in your pews. If you haven't done it, no better time than January to include turning in your stewardship pledge card to St. Pat's as one of your New Year's resolutions. We're not that far into the new year. There we go, thank you very much. It looks just like this here. But I suspect if you're like me that many of your New Year's resolutions have already been broken. You might be looking for a new one. Consider the stewardship pledge card one of those things you could do. I would like to just take a second here to share a few of the highlights of what your pledges have enabled us to do here at St. Pat's, and then wrap up with a couple of things that are coming down the pike here in this next 6 months. The bulletin has a detailed list of these items, but I just wanted to highlight a couple. As you know, one of our 3 parish priorities is promoting youth and young adults. And we secured funding to hire a full-time youth administrator. And Allison Verhofstadt has been everything we hoped for in a youth minister. She and her team of 4 young adult volunteer assistants have revitalized our middle school youth program beyond belief. Over 30 kids now join Allison every Thursday night for fellowship, community service, and prayer. Allison's also begun building connections with our neighboring parishes and their youth groups in the quadrant based on community service opportunities. Next on the horizon for Allison is building our high school youth program. And her strategy here is to train and form our high schoolers to be small group leaders for the middle schoolers. Great strategy, and we wish Allison and her team continued success. To support our values for building communities, hospitality and welcoming, and creating opportunities to deepen our relationship with Jesus Christ, we started a more contemplative type 7 p.m. Mass on Sunday evenings that's open to the entire Tacoma community. We've had priests from all 5 of our quadrant parishes take turns celebrating that Mass. Attendance has averaged about 170 people each week. It's been a wonderful worship experience, and if you haven't had a chance to attend that 7 p.m. liturgy, I encourage you to take advantage of that sometime. We also initiated our Radical Welcoming campaign with our inaugural Name Tag Sunday a few weekends ago in October. And I think we discovered as a parish how uplifting it is when people can connect names with faces, and that there's a genuine closeness and authenticity that comes when we can call someone by name. We should have another name tag session here, and probably here sometime towards the end part of January. In terms of being disciples for a world church and helping those out on the margins, most needy, we restarted our commitment to CCS Family Housing Network. Many of you remember that as Phoenix Housing. We reopened the parish center and most recently the rectory to host families awaiting permanent housing. The last 2 sessions included 3 families with 18 kids between the 3 families. What an awesome experience it was for those families and for those who volunteered to help serve those young families in need of housing. We're on tap to do this family housing network again for 3 straight weeks beginning the 20th of January. So I'd ask you to please stop by the gathering space on your way out today to find out how you can be a part of that effort with food donations or preparing a meal or being an overnight or dinner guest. dinner host. We're also working directly with CCS on other social justice issues as part of CCS's initiative to build stronger relationships with local parishes. So these are just a few of the new initiatives we've undertaken this year, in addition to all of the standard programs and ministries we continue to offer here at St. Pat's. One of which I also want to mention at this time is St. Vincent de Paul. St. Vincent de Paul, as you know, as you make contributions, the first Sunday of every month, we ask people to make contributions on the way out of Mass. And I can tell you right now, the need continues to grow right here in our own backyard. And for the first time now, the needs of these people, the financial resources that we help them with, are exceeding our income and our resources. And so we would ask you to think a little bit more about how much you can help St. Vincent de Paul, and to know that those contributions are going to people right here in Tacoma. Financially, the parish is doing okay. We're tracking fairly well on our budget in terms of expenses, but we are a little over $5,000 behind on our weekend collections. You see that in the bulletin. I guess one good thing about falling behind halfway through the year is that we have another half a year to make it up. So, and I'm confident that the good Lord, through his good people, will provide. He always has. And that's another thing you can look for here in the next 6 months. I've asked the Finance Council, if they could, to help us develop a better tool to communicate how the parish is doing financially and where your contribution dollars are directed, so that we all have a deeper understanding of stewardship and our collective responsibility for the financial support of our parish. So a couple other things to look forward to in the next couple of months. Allison, again, will continue with her high school youth program, leadership program. Our Reach School auction this year, we'll be hosting it on St. Patrick's Day, March 17th. I think that's the first time in recent history we've done that. That Reach auction will also serve as a kickoff event for the 125th anniversary celebration of our school. The school's been going for 125 years, pretty amazing. Speaking of campaigns, we'll be sharing with you more information regarding our school capital improvement campaign to help renovate the school. It's a little old, it's 60 years old. Of those 125 years, we've been in the same building for 60 years. And we'll also update you on the Archdiocesan Priest and Religious Retirement Campaign. Right now, we're in the process of feasibility studies to determine whether it's best to do separate campaigns or to combine them, and when we want to begin those. Another thing we're doing is continuing to plan with St. Rita's Parish down the road here for our partnership that will occur in July of 2018. And finally, as in recent years, we expect to hear sometime this spring from the Archdiocese whether a pastor will be assigned to St. Pat's and St. Rita's parishes this coming summer. Hopefully we'll hear something about that in March. So a lot going on, much for us to pray for and to work for. And if any of what you hear today or read in the bulletin sparks your interest and you'd like to get involved somehow, please don't hesitate to contact the parish office. There's room and place for everyone. All this being said, let's not forget what truly brings us together as a community and why we're here today. And that's the celebration of the Eucharist together as community. Today we are led in celebration by Father Jerry. Thank you, Father Jerry, for all you have given to the community the past 2.5 years. You've been a big part in all the things I just talked about.